The couple became increasingly argumentative until everything came to a head on July 5th, 2024. On the way home from the Flower Mound Independence Fest, the pair got into a heated argument, drawing attention from onlookers, and as things got worse, the argument turned physical, but they eventually got into a car with a few friends in the backseat and drove off. But they didn't get far before Ladurus pulled out a gun and turned it on Zara, shooting her above the eye. In a moment of remorse, he called 911, admitting to the dispatcher that he'd shot his girlfriend. When the authorities arrived at the scene of the crime, they found her lying on the ground outside of the car.
What's the word, YouTube? It's Gorilla 2 times nigga, aka 2 times 2 exclusive, adult times dose, you already know. On my soul. But hey, we're gonna be looking at the worst crimes in TikTok history, bro. Hey, TikTok, never thought that niggas on TikTok would get active like that, but hey, apparently niggas do. Niggas do. It's just, it's like a better Instagram for some people. But hey, if we get right into it on my soul, let's go.
TikTok started as a place to share fun dance videos, and over time has become one of the biggest social media platforms on the planet. The app is responsible for launching the careers of multiple huge influencers and making several regular people famous overnight. However, it also seems to be a breeding ground for criminals and a chronicler of some of its users' victimization or fall from grace. And so in this video, we're going to be going over some of the most disturbing TikToks ever uploaded to the platform, beginning with Jinkid. Anna Marie and Ali Abdullah seem like a perfect couple. The two met in 2014 when they were both stationed in Japan or serving in the Air Force. A romance quickly sparked between them during their service, but there were issues on the get-go. Ali was discharged from the Air Force for allegedly assaulting one of Anna's friends. He then returned to Virginia and Anna returned to the Philippines, where she eventually learned she was pregnant with her and Ali's daughter. Ali responded quickly, getting his hands on a visa for her and flying her over to the United States where the two would get married. Then in 2019, Ali would get her first taste of fame. He joined TikTok under the handle Jinkid and started filming little skits in which he'd do impressions of characters from video games and classic films.
Need something?
His most popular impression was of Tony Montana from Scarface. While his videos did do well, with him quickly gaining over 900,000 followers, they tended to do better when his wife made an appearance, something that didn't sit well with the TikTok star. While the two did seem to be a great couple and claimed to have a drama-free relationship, things were quickly going downhill after they moved to San Diego. Around the same time as their move, Anna started to develop an online presence and a decent following. Unfortunately, this brought out an ugly side in Ali, who became very possessive and jealous. Ali started filming videos of himself yelling at his wife after allegedly using drugs. He would often accuse her of cheating, which it turns out he was actually guilty of himself. Either that or he'd insult her or purposefully start an argument. He no longer viewed her as a person but as his property, and believed she owed him something after all he had done for her. After suffering through this for a while, Anna decided enough was enough and broke up with Ali for the sake of herself and their now 5-year-old daughter. Rather than let them leave, Ali agreed to let Anna stay in the apartment with her daughter while he left. While it might have seemed like the breakup could have woken him up to his crazy behavior, it was soon apparent that Ali was only sinking deeper into it. He wasn't going to let Anna and his daughter go that easily. Motivated by jealousy and a need to control his wife, Ali broke back into the apartment on October 25th, 2021 and vandalized it. Once he finished leaving his mark, he installed an app on his young daughter's tablet so it would function as a listening device and placed it behind a bed, so you could always listen in on everything that happened when he wasn't there. When Anna returned—
Pause. This is just weird as hell, bro. You should never be that obsessed with somebody to the point where you gotta do stuff like that, bro. Come on. If not, y'all gotta. If you gotta do all that, just try to talk it out with her, bro. Come on. You got a 5-year-old daughter, bro. Come on. You got a 5-year-old daughter. People are dumb as shit, bro.
Returned to the apartment, she knew exactly who was responsible for the mess. She immediately called a friend to tell her what happened and asked if she could pick up her daughter from school so that Anna could clean up the mess, hoping to keep her daughter as far away from her parents' drama as possible. She then called another friend, Rayburn Barron, someone Ali was incredibly jealous of, and asked him to come and help. Little did she know that when Rayburn would arrive at the apartment to help, Ali was tuning into his new app. As soon as he heard his wife laughing with another man, Ali sped back to Anna's apartment, gun in hand, and burst in to find her on the couch with her friend, Rayburn Barron.
What happened when you found them? No.
Immediately, he shot Barron 3 times before turning his weapon on Anna and shooting her in the head. The deed was done, and Ali rushed out to the apartment to pick up his daughter from school. Shortly after picking up his daughter, he then called his mother and confessed that he had just murdered Anna before later—
Want to hear a secret?
Come on, bro.
Everyone will be using this Google update by 2025. Do you know how much of the content you see on a daily basis
later calling the police on himself. 40 minutes later, while Ali was traveling on the highway, he was stopped by police and promptly arrested, with the officers charging him on 2 counts of first-degree murder.
You're dumb as shit, bro. Stop. Y'all need to really realize, bro, there's other people in the world, bro. If you want to be with her so badly, talk it out. If you can't talk it out, try other ways of getting back into her heart, bro. You gotta become a better person. Because it seems like she broke up with you because of how much of a terrible person you becoming. Bro, become a better person, better yourself. If she doesn't still want you by then, bro, move on. You have a kid. Think about the kid. The kid is now not able to have 2 parents just because of fucking you getting jealous of your wife, you thinking that this and that, this and that. Come on.
During his trial, Ali blamed social media for his violent tendencies, claiming the fame from TikTok had messed with his brain and made him aggressive. The sad thing was that Ali was more upset over losing his business than losing his family. Shortly after...
That's insane. That's another thing that's insane. Y'all need to get off social media. Social media should not make y'all that mad to the point where y'all start getting controlling. Come on. Social media is just an outlet where people want to... Social media is just an outlet, really. Like, you just have fun on the app. You're not supposed to take it so serious to the point where you over here getting mad at your wife. Like, you're supposed to have fun, enjoy yourself. Like, you can't even blame social media on that. Come on.
After he was arrested, someone posted a video on YouTube for Ali, in which he apologized. However, he wasn't apologizing for the heinous crimes he'd committed, but instead for the fact that he hadn't been able to make more content. He pled not guilty, and during his testimony, he claimed that he just snapped and had shot the gun before he realized what he was doing and couldn't stop. His attorney also tried to argue that he'd acted out of passion and provocation, not judgment or malice. She even went so far as to say that it was a heat-of-the-moment reaction born out of a worsening mental health issue that was the result of childhood trauma and extensive drug use. But the deputy district attorney was having none of it. She argued that claiming someone had acted in the heat of the moment didn't really work when that person had purposely bugged an apartment they shouldn't have been able to get into, used a key they weren't supposed to have, and made a conscious effort to bring a gun to a fight that no one knew what was happening but them. When the judge announced that Ali had been found guilty, Anna Marie and Rayburn's loved ones erupted into cheers. But it was a horrendous warning of what TikTok can do to certain individuals.
Weirdo.
Social media sites like TikTok are especially dangerous for losing your privacy and can open up all sorts of problems. Which is why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, accepted by Stronghold White, better secure on VPN on the wall. If you're a privacy social network, Nesh with their strict code for and by Proton, make sure to click the link here. Is Hannah Viver to safeguard your online freedom with Proton? The woman you're seeing here is Hannah Viverette, a dancer who was just trying to relax before she settled in for the evening. She was recording a video to post to TikTok before she was rudely interrupted, and this video would be the key to solving one of the many problems she was dealing with at the time. A few weeks before she posted this video to TikTok, Hannah was just a mother who was dealing with the fact that CPS had taken a son from her due to the abusive actions of a husband who was not the man she thought he was. She spent months desperately trying to win her boy back, filing a protective order against his father and looking for a new apartment and a new job to prove that she was financially stable enough to be allowed to have her child back. With all the legal battles already happening in her life, she didn't have time to worry about her new creepy neighbor. You see, shortly after moving into her apartment, she noticed the regular appearance of a truck outside her apartment and realized the man inside it was watching her. After this kept on happening, it seemed he'd gotten a bit brave and started making advances towards Hannah, all of which she rebuffed or just completely ignored. She didn't think things would go any further than the uncomfortable advances and watching, believing he was just a creep. But it didn't take long for things to escalate. Hannah started dancing and posted her dancing to TikTok to help herself relax after a long day. The routines became particularly helpful for relieving stress while she waited to hear what was happening with her son and CPS. But what she hadn't anticipated was an unwelcome guest interrupting one of her late night dances, especially since she lived on the 2nd floor.
Alexa, off. Who are you? Who are you? Please get off. Please get out. No, please get out. Yes. Who are you? Please get out of my apartment right now. Please get out of my apartment right now. Get out. Get out.
Weirdo. Am I your friend? Am I your friend? No, bro. Why do y'all weird ass niggas do that? Y'all will harass females, bro. Y'all will stare at them. Y'all will beat and jerk to them. Like, it will be like, y'all know what I'm talking about. The harassment shit. Consent is good too, bro. Y'all don't gotta do all this, bro. Y'all doing this really shows that y'all just don't get no female pleasure. It be too many of y'all watching corn. Too many of y'all watching corn. And y'all think that stuff like this is cool. Am I your friend? No. You don't know her. She's never talked to you a day in your life, bro. Why are you saying that?
Hello? Please come in.
The man in red was Hannah's stalker. After months of watching her from a distance, he decided it would be a good idea to climb up to her balcony, ruining a few Christmas decorations along the way, all to get to her. What he was planning to do, we don't really know, but it couldn't have been anything good. However, fortunately for Hannah, once he saw that he was on camera and possibly realized that things weren't going his way, he left her apartment. However, given that Hannah was terrified out of her mind, she took refuge in a neighbor's apartment where she would report the incident to the police once she calmed down. After handing the authorities the video as evidence, she posted it to TikTok and went viral almost immediately, raking up over 5 million views as people began sharing it with anyone they could. Everyone was curious to know what had happened next, with some offering her advice if she ever found herself in a similar situation, reprimanding her for how she'd handle the break-in or even looking for her intruder. Fortunately for the dancer, it would only be 2 days before the police arrested him on suspicion of stalking, 3rd and 4th degree burglary, and 2nd degree assault, and malicious destruction of property. However, he wouldn't stay in custody long. After meeting with the district court commissioner, he was released on an unsecured $5,000 bond and allowed to return to his home, which was situated in the same apartment complex as
This shit is so weird. Get a restraining order, bro.
You're not ready.
Hannah. Understandably, Hannah wasn't feeling safe in her apartment and broke her lease to try and find a new one. Fortunately, she received no penalties, which was the least the company managing her building could do, considering the circumstances. As her story circled the internet, former MLB pitcher LaTroy Hawkins and his wife Anita decided to not only help her find an apartment with some better security, but also paid the first 6 months of rent, a blessing she and her lawyer thanked the Hawkins for multiple times after the
Great. Bro, that's so good. I love when people do stuff like that. Please help each other. Help each other out, bro. Like, bro, she's over here getting stalked. That shit is not cool, bro. That shit's not nowhere near cool, bro. Thank God you did that, bro. First 6 months is cool. That's perfect, bro. I fuck with that.
They heard the news. The funny thing is, shortly after her stalker was released, ICE got wind of what was going on and arrested him in December in relation to immigration violations. Turns out he was actually in the US illegally and was eventually deported back to Mexico. Despite all the fear, Hannah never stopped dancing, continuing to relax and find joy in the thing that had very likely kept her alive that night. Many people who watched the TikTok video suspected that had she gone to bed earlier, Hannah's story probably would have had a much sadder ending. While Hannah's TikTok was jarring, its virality led her to receive support and opportunities she might not have otherwise received. But unfortunately, in the next case, the only thing TikTok did was prove just how easy it was for prisoners to post content on social media, no matter the crime they committed. It's actually scary how common it is for inmates to have smartphones. Some have even developed massive followings after sharing life behind bars, notably Jerome Combs. However, it's important to remember that all of these guys are behind bars for a reason, and some videos have much more disturbing backstories than others. This here is one of the 10 boys responsible for killing Jack Woodley. Jack Woodley was a bright young man who, according to his mother, had dealt with many problems and was finally looking to make a turnaround, hoping to start with his new job at Amazon. However, before he started working, he wanted to have some fun at the Houghton Feast in Houghton Le Spring with his girlfriend and a few friends. While out enjoying the ride, he met a few boys and had a bit of a friendly conversation regarding a girl who was recently involved in an attack. What he didn't know was that one conversation on that night in October of 2021 would seal his fate. After enjoying one last ride, Willie began his walk home and re-encountered some of the boys he'd spoken to earlier along the way. They were reeling for a fight and challenged Jack, but he refused. Not letting it go, the boys followed him before one broke off from the rest and punched him from behind. The 9 other boys descended on Woodley almost instantly. Every boy in that group punched, kicked, or stomped on Jack. refusing to let him escape or let anyone help. As this continued, the 18-year-old had crouched down and put his hands over his head, trying to provide himself with as much protection as possible. And while Jack was severely injured, he would have been fine if that had been the extent of the attack. But then the boys started calling for someone to get the chopper out. The chopper was a Rambo-style knife that one of the boys used to stab Jack. The first stab was aimed at his hip, and the second hit him in the back, with the blade passing between his ribs to puncture one of his lungs. Once the boys had finished, they left Jack to collapse in an alley next to Britannia Inn. Witnesses to the attack moved quickly and rushed him to the nearest hospital. Meanwhile, Jack's mother Zoe had yet to hear anything from her son, and was pulled out of whatever she was doing when a message pinged on her phone. Instantly, dread and panic settled into her stomach, and she started rushing her husband out of the house, insisting that her son was dead. When they arrived at the hospital, Jack had just come out of a 5-hour operation, and the doctor who met them prepared his parents for the worst. All his mum wanted was to see her son, but she was then met with the last thing a parent would ever want to see. Her firstborn was covered in tubes of all shapes and sizes, surrounded by machines and doctors who were doing what they could to make sure he stayed alive. Desperately wishing to provide her son any kind of comfort, his mother reached out but was stopped by a doctor. Heartbroken for his family, the doctor explained that they weren't allowed to hold Jack's hands, as this would be used as evidence in the case against Jack's attackers. Dead tired but refusing to let her son be without comfort, Zoe was given a gown and 3 layers of gloves while they waited for Jack's next surgery. Before Jack's doctor took him into the theatre, he urged the Woodley family to say their goodbyes, unsure of whether their son would survive. 20 minutes later, Zoe, who had managed to fall asleep in a side room, was woken up with devastating news. Her son was gone. During the boys' trial, Zoe couldn't believe how unfazed they seemed. None of them seemed to realize how serious their involvement in the fight that led to Jack's death was, as they would just laugh and grin as the evidence was given out.
They would laugh whenever.
That's insane as shit, bro. I hope all of them get life in prison. Like y'all should. First degree and second degree murder, bro. They're witnessing it. They didn't report it to the cops. That's another felony charge. It's so weird. You're fighting somebody, and you say, get the chopper out. I hope all y'all need to Swiss cheese on my soul.
Evidence was being given out. And cough and like, it just, to them it just seemed like it was some kind of
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store.
Game. You know, it was absolutely killing me, even to sit through it. What's wrong with them? Why are they laughing? Why are they laughing at something so horrific? And I don't think it hit them what they'd actually done.
They seemed to think they couldn't be convicted of murder, but the judge soon wiped the grins off their faces. After listening to all that happened, how each boy had known about the knife and encouraged its use, how none of them had attempted to stop the attack, how it had seemed premeditated and done solely for the excitement and pleasure of seriously injuring a stranger, the judge ruled that the attack and murder was a joint enterprise, and that each one had played a part in the ordeal. All of them were sentenced to life with minimum terms, and each boy's sentence varying between 8 and 17 years. Only once the judge had finished speaking did the boys seem to realize the weight of their actions and the consequences they could receive, and finally started showing emotion. However, Zoe didn't believe that it was a display of remorse, but rather they were just feeling sorry for themselves, which the judge clearly agreed with, claiming they weren't genuinely sorry for what had happened, only for the consequences their actions brought. Most of the boys' parents felt the sentencing was unfair, and that their sons had been convicted of a murder they didn't commit, arguing they hadn't held the knife and therefore weren't responsible. Fortunately for Woodley's family,
What? You're trying to justify your sons killing somebody. You're trying to justify it. You some when they say bring the chopper out, or they know what the chopper is. They know what it is. They went to go jumping for a reason. They punched them, kicked them, did all that. It's different from when you jump at somebody, punching and kicking. But bro, when you kill somebody, when you stab somebody, when you get a knife and do it, stab somebody, that's insane.
the appeal judge agreed with the verdict and denied every appeal, and all the boys were sent to prison. While Jack's family would forever live with the trauma of what had happened, they were assured that the killers wouldn't be seen for a long time. Or at least, that's what they thought anyway. Because unfortunately it seemed that the prison had an opposite effect on some of the boys, namely who people believed to be Callum Madison, the one who had stabbed Jack. After about 2 years in prison, a video of someone who could be Madison was making it rounds on TikTok. It seemed that he'd managed to get a cell phone behind bars, and the video shows him in a cell with a bandana covering his nose and the lower half of his face, probably so that he can remember.
Why does this nigga got Versace on? They have Versace in jail? What the fuck?
Remain anonymous while he raps about how gangster he is, essentially glorifying his crime.
I never take that joy, please. Take my chance to go and try to pray to set me free. 17 years, I still take it like a G. Oh, play it, play me B. All gang around me, G. Certified killers in my squad, be like the army, G. Visit all community, trying to get the.
I don't see why he rapping. He sounds so dumb. Like, honestly, I would say it's hard, but bro, you still kill somebody, but I would still be truthful with you. But bro, your accent is really what's making it worse, to be honest.
It was horrendous and left many people with a bad taste in their mouths, most feeling that this should never have been able to happen. Fortunately, the Attorney General agreed and declared they needed to crack down on mobile phone use and existence within prison, so that something like this would never happen again. While that's all well and good, it does nothing to comfort Woodley's family, who are now not only living with the fact that their son and brother's death was for nothing, but also with the knowledge that these criminals are using TikTok to gain fame and clout, all without any consequence. Whilst the boys behind bars gained views, status, recognition in jail, they were just able to taunt the family for years. In 2023, Ladrius M. Brownlee and Zara started a TikTok page under the name Deno and Zara. They used to show off their life as a couple and all they got up to. They seemed to enjoy each other's company, where they were often praising him for the way he treated her and him always claiming that there was no one else he wanted or showing off her relationship with his young son. For the most part, the two of them seemed really sweet, and people seemed to enjoy the fact that they were a loving couple and weren't afraid to tease and roast each other. People enjoyed watching them so much that over the year that their page was up, they amassed over 150,000 followers. But unfortunately, things didn't stay sweet for long. As the months went by, the more loving videos were replaced with videos of them fighting or arguing with each other over meaningless things like hypothetical questions.
I can't even lie to you. I remember seeing them on my For You page. I remember seeing them.
Some of their viewers began to speculate that there was something more going on behind the scenes. One of the first videos that set off warning signals for viewers was titled "Hitting My Girlfriend Prank Gone Wrong." Now, neither of them come off well in this, but it's particularly bad for Ladrius. The video starts with him lightly hitting Zara to see how she will respond. Understandably, she didn't appreciate it and retaliated by pretending to hit him back. However, it was the look of terror in her eyes and how quick she was to throw her hands up to try and stop his next hit that drew people's attention in. While this retaliation was fake,
once I figured out that Shopify was a thing, I never turned back.
the two had still managed to hurt each other. Ladrius doesn't even look slightly remorseful for how much pain Zara's in, and if you watch the video closely, you can see him picking at his own injury to try and make it seem worse. While the look of fear drew people's attention, when Zara got closer to the camera, people really started to worry for her. If you look closely at the right side of her face, there's a slight brownish green tinge under her eye, and a healing cut in her lip, as if she's been struck a few days prior. Fans
Bro, what? I can't even lie to y'all. It don't look like that. I don't see that. Maybe y'all do. But I can't even lie. That's just how, like, some couple, like, I can't even lie. That's how some couples just play around. That's not even done. Right here, what I'm hearing is nothing serious.
who had started trying to read into the video as soon as they saw Zara's look of terror were immediately sure that this was a case of domestic violence and were shocked that the couple had even posted it. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last time the couple got into a physical altercation on camera. In another video, Ladrius placed her in a chokehold twice, while repeatedly telling her to go to sleep, and she starts hitting him to get out of the hold. When hitting him doesn't work, Zara then resorts to biting him until he lets her go. There are far too many examples of the couple mistreating each other on the page, especially Ladrius, who seems to go out of his way to insult his girlfriend in the later videos. However, the couple were insistent that everything was fine, with Zara often posting videos on the page to defend her relationship and her happiness within it, which only led people to doubt her words, believing that a person who was genuinely happy in their relationship wouldn't have to fight so hard to prove they were. The couple became increasingly argumentative until everything came to a head on July 5th, 2024. On the way home from the Flower Mound Independence Fest, the pair got into a heated argument, drawing attention from onlookers, and as things got worse, the argument turned physical, but they eventually got into a car with a few friends in the backseat and drove off. But they didn't get far before Ladrius pulled out a gun and turned it on Zara, shooting her above the eye. In a moment of remorse, he called 911, admitting to the dispatcher that he'd shot his girlfriend. When the authorities arrived at the scene of the crime, they found her lying on the ground outside of the car. After admitting to shooting her and being verbally and physically abusive in the months leading up to that night, Ladrius was arrested. Zara was rushed to hospital, badly injured but alive. Doctors did everything they could to make sure she would be alive, but told her family to say goodbye in case she wouldn't make it.
That's insane as shit. Like, I can't even lie to y'all boys and girls. A lot of the stuff, a lot of like little fighting like that I seen, I didn't even think it would lead to this, but So fighting shit, I can't lie. All couples be doing. That's how like some couples play around. Like that's how a lot of couples play around. That's how, honestly, if I'm being honest, little just jokes like that. Like I'm not saying like hit them, but like just like playing around, like wrestling and stuff like that. That's how couples like stay together. Look, like if you shit talking your couple, shit talking, playing around, look, something like that. That's how they say that. That's how you strengthen your bond with somebody. But at the same time, like a lot of times, not all couples deserve that. Like not a lot of people able to have like a strong relationship like that. But this is insane. Why would you shoot your girlfriend? Come on, bro. It's different. Like it hit diff. It hit different, bro. Whenever you for real just trying to like kill her. I can't even lie. Bro was a little scrapped up too. I can't even lie to y'all. Like I don't know if this was from her, but this is still scrapped up too. I can't lie. Like, this is crazy. It's just crazy. But
Latterus was arrested, sure she would be alive, but told her family to say goodbye in case she wouldn't make it. However, after a week and a half of tense silence, Zara's sister took to Instagram to let people know that she had actually recovered and was already taking her first steps after the incredibly traumatic event. Now, we've yet to hear anything from Zara herself, but her followers are more than happy to hear that she is alive and doing well. As for Latterus, due to the nature of this crime and the fact that he could flee the country if he got out of jail, the TikToker is currently being held on a $900,000 bond and facing 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and 3 counts of deadly conduct. A criminal defense attorney explained that the assault would be considered a first-degree felony, meaning that Latterus could spend between 5 to 99 years in prison. Unsurprisingly, most of those who followed the couple went and watched the videos were calling for him to receive the maximum sentence.
I am smashed.
This driver who was smashed at the wheel filming a TikTok video and ended up killing a beautiful young lady in a car crash moments later. It wasn't bad enough that he was drunk, but he was also making a TikTok video as well, and he was sent to jail for only 7 years. It's become such a problem that the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles started a Put It Down campaign to discourage TikTok users from driving and filming at the same time. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should risk it, and there's enough evidence to support the concern. TikTok challenges have also played a part in some deaths of younger participants. These kids took on the blackout challenge, but they would hang themselves till they blacked out. The idea is the rope or whatever holding you would break or fall and you would just black out. But sadly,
What? Please get y'all kids off of TikTok and stuff like this, bro. Like, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like, why would you do that? That's how people die. Hanging yourself. You're hanging yourself. That's not even smart. That's not even something you should even attempt. That just shows that kids will do anything because they seen the other person do it. Come on.
these kids blacked out and hung themselves. And there's a bunch of other challenges that have completely poisoned Generation Z and Generation Alpha. Now, none of these TikTokers intend harm or death, but their desperation is usually to get recognition and so-called clout and fame, just to prove themselves and get rid of their insecurities, and it often leads to serious if not fatal outcomes that were just never worth it. Now, is TikTok to blame or the TikToker? It's a question worth asking. If not TikTok, the attention seeking just moves to another platform. But why the desperation for fame in the first place? Sadly, the consequence of their actions plays a bigger role in the lessons learned. While prevention of these instances is all in the hands of the TikToker's wisdom and lack thereof, or foresight to see the risk they're taking.
Well, alright, YouTube, that's the end of that video, bro. This is insane. I can't lie. Cause like, bro, please don't be trying to hit your wife, your kids, nobody, your girlfriend. And also, bro, violence is not promoted, bro. Don't promote that shit. Violence is terrible, bro. You could peep the shirt though, but just know that, bro, violence is never the way to go. Never. Simple communication could go such a long way. I'm telling you. But it's your boy Rella 2 times. Peep the shirt on my soul. You already know. You already know how we rocking. You already know. But hey, we're boy Rella 2 times, aka 2 times 2 exclusive. We out of here. Deuces.